Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Ted Keller. It's July 29th, a Monday morning. Happy Monday morning to everyone. We've got some wet weather in our forecast. Let's first change gears and take a look at the morning satellite loop, first of all, showing that we're in extensive cloud cover. The overall pattern is what I'm trying to establish here, and that is that cooler high pressure is centered up over the Great Lakes. We're in a flow that's sort of west to east across the central United States. That's going to help generate some good precipitation through at least a portion of the Ozarks. Still leaning north on this heavier rain that'll set in later tonight and tomorrow. And it's looking pretty good, and I'll explain why here in a minute. Let's turn that off and turn the radar on here this morning. You can see what's going on. And keep in mind, I recorded this about, just before 8 a.m., so anything I showed that's current, like radar, is not really going to look right in a couple of hours. So just keep that in mind. There's Springfield, and we'll watch the trend on this, and you can see a band of rain arcing through mostly northern Missouri, northwestern Missouri, but a part of that's coming into the northern portion of the Ozarks. Not much expected in Springfield here this morning, a few sprinkles, but scattered showers and storms a possibility. I want you to take some note of what's going on down to our south. You see some scattered cells there along Wichita Falls, Red River area, even there in northwest or northeast Oklahoma. So there's a band of developing rain and thunderstorm activity that will be basically kind of ramping up a little bit today, later on tonight especially. By the way, not expecting any severe weather. This is mostly heavy rain that we're contending with here, which is not necessarily bad news. We need some, although recent rains have brought at least the Springfield total up to a pretty good level, 3.68. That's actually above normal. This is only through Saturday. I didn't have anything measurable or noteworthy since then. Of course, that last rain on the 26th really helped to bolster our July rainfall, which was actually coming at a steady rate, but just not impressive totals. It's nice in the summer to get rain spikes like you see there. At least at regular intervals, you can say that about the summer. But in these last couple of days of July here, when we've got today, tomorrow, and also Wednesday, we should be able to add to that significantly. So we will definitely end, I think, well above normal. Here's the rainfall departure. Past 30 days, actually ending on the 27th. Again, nothing major has happened since then. So this is generally a pretty good map. And you'll see that the areas in yellow and orange that need the rain the most are going to get the most, the way it appears now. The areas in green over the last 30 days, and I don't go by months, I go by periods, either minus 30 or minus 90. It's the best way to look at it. And so some areas have had all right rain in the green, some areas a little bit of a lack of precipitation. So here's the latest projection. This is from the Weather Forecast Center, and this rain bullseye has moved around a little bit. That's because the computer models have had some disagreement as to where to put this, but it still looks like generally we're looking at about a 3 to 4 inch band just north of Springfield. So anything north of Joplin, Lamar, Nevada forecast to get the most rain out of this. Lake of the Ozarks, all the northern lakes are forecast to get a good amount in their reservoirs here and in their drainage areas. Today, not so much this afternoon, maybe a few scattered areas of rain like you saw this morning, but mostly later tonight and early on Tuesday. In fact, here's the simulated radar from one computer model. This is at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Springfield just on the edge of a pretty intense band of rain, and with some lightning and thunder in that too. Again, not expecting severe, but that is expected to be a very efficient rainfall as it moves across the northern part of the Ozarks and central Missouri generally. This is something called precipitable water. It sounds real fancy, lots of syllables. All it really means, where you see the bullseye there, is that the rain that occurs in those areas, assuming that we have enough going on in the atmosphere to make rain happen, would be pretty efficient and pretty good at producing heavy totals. Whenever you see that go up above an inch and a half or 2 in the summer, and that's 2.5 almost, you see there in western Missouri, that's pretty healthy. That's why we're a little concerned about maybe some flash flooding potential. The ground's not particularly saturated, but it could be coaxed in to do that in certain areas, I think. And that is, bullseye is basically moving over north of Springfield at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning and continues on its way. Generally speaking, by the way, that shows up a lot in the extended forecast. Now, here's the latest drought monitor. Again, clarification on this. This is data through almost a week ago. But it was drying out in central Missouri and was still always kind of dry in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. We've taken care of that with recent rains, and certainly what's in the forecast will take care of the rest. Now, let's talk about temperatures. 2 runs here in July were pretty hot, up to 95 a couple times, 94 a handful of times too. And then lately, the bottom has fallen out of this. Now, last year on this date, we had a record high of 106 degrees. And the low was 76. We didn't even get a high of 76 on most of the last 3 days here, and counting possibly today. So we've had a really, really cool run, and this will continue, I think, over the next not only couple of days, but generally getting into early August. Now let me show you something. Here's the 500 millibar flow. Generally this controls hot versus cool and rain areas, and this is Tuesday. And this is the little disturbance that's moving through the upper atmosphere that will fire the rain cluster and tap upon that high precipitable water. And then here it is on Thursday. This is not a rainy pattern, but just generally speaking, the hot air is trying to build here. But what keeps happening are these little disturbances like this one and this one keep sliding on down the northeast side of this and prevent that hot air bubble from really establishing itself over the central United States, especially in the Ozarks. This is Saturday. And again, question marks remain as to whether these little guys here will produce rain, little cool fronts, again, enough to keep the real hot stuff from building over the Ozarks. In fact, the latest projection from the climate prediction folks for August 5th through 11th has a big bubble of below normal temperatures centered up over Iowa, and we're certainly close enough to that to maybe count on that. Now, of course, temperatures will go up and down. This is an average over that period, but still pretty cool, it looks like. Tropical storm Flossie will affect the Big Island here later today, and then Dorian, what's left of that, still hanging on. At least one computer model has that developing into a hurricane off the western coast of Florida. That's maybe somewhat dubious, but it's still kind of tracking over the southern Bahamas, north of Cuba, and everybody's keeping an eye on it. Here's our 7-day forecast: 80 and then 78 tomorrow, with scattered storms this afternoon and this evening. More earnest rain later tonight and through tomorrow. Getting a little bit hotter toward the end of the week. Again, nothing too oppressive for this time of year. Another extended weather report tomorrow.